Hi guys, welcome to Life is Miss Cooks, where my goal is to encourage and inspire other homeschool families. Today guys, I have something really good for you guys. It is a review on Transcripts Made Easy, the Homeschooler's Guide to High School Paperwork, and it's written by Janice Campbell and published by Everyday Education. Let me tell you this. Anyways, I'm always being asked, how do I keep up with all my oldest daughter, who's a sophomore in high school? How do I keep up with her stuff? How do I prepare her for college? My answer is the same. Girl, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. I have no idea. We just going with the flow and hoping for the best. However, you can check Pinterest. I'm sure there's a ton of things on there. Well, after today, I'll be able to speak about that confidently and recommend this awesome book for you guys so that you don't have to ask me, because here it is, guys. I received a free copy of this product through the Homeschool Review Crew in exchange for my honest review. I was not required to write a positive review, nor was I compensated in any other way. All opinions I have expressed are my own or those of my family. I am disclosing this in accordance with the FTC regulations. I want to tell you guys, I was able to meet Janice Campbell last month at the Great Homeschool Convention in Fort Worth, Texas. This woman is just filled with a wealth of knowledge. And Janice, I don't know if you're gonna watch this video, but if you do, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. That prior to reading this book, I had a general idea of how to create a transcript. However, I have not implemented it. I did download different templates, but I hadn't done anything, so I'm pulling down. This is kind of what I kept all her stuff in. I mean, I wrote out grades. I had it, I would just write out stuff. Like I said, I was flying by the seat of my pants. So after reading this book, it kind of helped put everything in perspective so that I can feel more confident in organizing my daughter's paperwork. And then I have 3 that's going to graduate behind her, so I mean, it's going to be smooth sailing. So this has taken a lot of stress and just confusion out of the situation. My daughter does plan on going to college. She wants to be a midwife, and so in order for her to do that, she does have to take nursing classes from what we've researched so far. So being able to put together a good transcript for me is very important, because in Texas, the nursing programs are very competitive. It's already, okay, we're homeschooling, so I don't know what I do, because most of that stuff is talked about with your high school counselor and things like that. Well, I am the high school counselor. I'm mom, I'm teacher, I'm high school counselor, I'm whatever I need to be. And so I was like, I don't want to fail my child. I got to get a grip on this. Okay, so when I received the PDF copy, I just downloaded into iBooks on my iPhone, and I read it through there. The book is broken up into 6 parts. You have part 1, which is Meet the Transcript. And in that section, she kind of goes over what a transcript is, who needs a transcript, who will see it, things that the transcript consists of. So she breaks down the 3 parts of a transcript, which is identity, and that's where you're going to basically put all your students' information, the school information. What is the next one? Basic information. And hold on, I gotta look at my notes. I thought I was gonna remember. Guys, I'm trying to find my notes. I found it. It's identity, basic information, and course. So she breaks it down and she tells what should go in each section. She also tells you if that's optional or if that's something that you need to have. Part 2 is plan with the end in mind. So in that section of the book, it just talks about purpose of high school. Basically, it's going to go over what to study in high school. It's going to give you some sample high school requirements. Like, she breaks down the general requirement for credit, but she's giving you the general credits that are needed. She even breaks it down per subject. So how many credits will they need for math? How many will they need for science? So on and so forth. She even discusses if your child decides to take a different route. So if they don't want to go to college, because college is not for everybody, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong way in any of this. She talks about how to schedule courses, the standardized tests to consider. She even talks about skills and habits to cultivate in high school. One that stood out to me was the time management. Time management is an area I need improvement in, as well as my daughter. So just learning how to teach those skills, because those are learned skills. You don't just wake up and say, I got time management skills. Those are things that are learned, and so they can be taught if they're learned. She gives a sample 4-year schedule for college-bound students. So not only, like I said, she talks about if they choose not to go to college, but then she also gives examples or samples of if they do plan to attend a 4-year college. 7 strategies for a successful first year at college. That's a good one, because parents, if you have never attended college, you may not know what to expect the first year when your child goes into college. So that's another good area. When I tell you guys, she covered just about anything you can think of in this book. She covered it, and she did it in a simple manner. So it's not where you're gonna feel overwhelmed going into it. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go back to what's covered in the book, and then we'll talk about all that in a minute. High school Q&A, teaching teens, and 6 things your teen can do while homeschooling high school. I did not read these in order. This is just the things that are covered in part 2, okay guys? Part 3, keep simple records. That's the portion where she talks about your high school binder, your student work samples to keep, all the things that you're gonna wanna kind of keep to build that portfolio or whatever you may wanna call it. Class profile sheets, how to use subject worksheets, naming your classes. That's a big one. I see it in homeschool groups a lot, where parents are asking, hey, my child is taking this baking class 101, blah, 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 blah. What should I name it on the transcript? She talks about all of that. Special needs records and transcript, and that's with Judy Monday, and then special needs resource recommendations from Kathy Cole. Part 4 is going to cover your grades, your credit, and your GPA, which stands for your grade point average. Grading realistically and ethically. And I tell my kids all the time, I'm not just passing you. I'm not just saying, yep, she did all these years of math. Yep, she did. No, okay. We're going to act using simple credibility clinchers, how to grade written work. That's important too, because that's not an area of my expertise, okay? The writing evaluation rubric. That's what we talked about at the convention, because again, I'm not a good writer. My grammar is not that good. And so when I had to grade my daughter's writing in the past, it's been kind of difficult. So we'll see how that goes, okay? Grading for unschoolers and chronically relaxed. Non-grading philosophy. Retrospective grading. Define a grading scale. Assign quality points. How to grant credit. Granting credit for honor classes, granting credit for AP, dual credit, and college evaluated classes, and then calculate a grade point average. I hope I'm making sense, because she made sense in this, and I'm trying to re-explain it. So I hope I'm making sense to you guys, okay? In general, so most of us don't sit and watch the clock or watch the time spent in a class. However, if they complete the textbook, you get a credit. Part 5 is create the transcript. So how to use an official transcript formats and examples. There's like 3 different ways that you can format a transcript. You could do a horizontal. There's 2 different vertical ways that you could do it, or you could do a check-off transcript format. I mean, she breaks that down. She even gives samples of those. She even provides you with a blank transcript, just in case you still don't feel comfortable. But I guarantee you, after reading this, you're going to feel comfortable writing up your child's or creating your child's transcript. She even breaks it down and gives you steps on how to do it on your computer as well. And she even has a high school diploma. I'm telling you guys, she covered everything. High school diploma format and how to create a high school diploma, and then the text for the diploma. Part 6 is the references, resources, and reproducibles. That's where you're gonna find the blank transcript forms that I told you about, people that contribute to the book, the glossary, resources for planning and learning, and all of that stuff. So that's a breakdown of what the book covers, how I did this. Again, I downloaded it onto my phone, and I also downloaded it on the computer. I downloaded it on the phone because it's just easier for me if I'm on the go, if we're in the car, if we're doing a car ride, I can just open it up and I can read it. But I downloaded it on my computer because I wanted to print off sheets and take notes and things like that, and it was just a bigger screen. Once I started reading, in part 1, she has the last part of that is where to start in this book. This book, you don't have to be homeschooling a high school student in order to benefit from this book. Picking up this book, we all may be at different levels of our homeschool. So you may have toddlers, you may have elementary age kids, you may have junior high kids, you may have high school kids. She breaks down where you can start depending on what's going on or depending on where you are in your homeschool. So if you just want to learn about planning, you can read this book too. What if your student is junior high? She tells you where to start. If your student is in the first 2 years of high school, so if you have a freshman or a sophomore, if your student is a junior, if your student is a senior, how about this? What if you need this transcript tomorrow? Jump on the book. She breaks it down, tells you where to start, and all of that stuff. So I read over that. Because I'm one of those people that it's very hard for me to start in the middle of something. Like, I just like to do it from beginning to end. That's what I did. And it was helpful to me because that's not my only child. I have a 13-year-old, I have a 12-year-old, and I have a 10-year-old. So I needed to see this from all angles. But I first started reading within the first few pages. I was like, oh, this is some good information. So what I started doing is I kind of just started my own outline. I was like, oh, because I didn't want to forget anything. That was a waste of time because she covered all of that later in the book. Most of the time when you read informative books like this, for me, I know they can be overwhelming. It's a lot of information that's thrown at you, and it's coming from the you have to do it this way or it's wrong type thing. I didn't get that from this book. Janice was very good at giving you step-by-step instructions, and she was very good at making it clear that you have to do it the way that works best for your student, for your homeschool. So I wasn't overwhelmed reading this. In fact, I just felt so empowered. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm finna go put this transcript together. That's it. So she provided the instructions on how to do it. File and then page setup. Then I had to change the margins to 0.5. So that's what you see me doing here. Now I'm going in and changing my document title so that I can save it. And I'm just putting my daughter's initials and then transcript so that it'll be easy for me to find whenever I need to go back in and insert information as she's going through her high school years. Okay guys, so I did mine a little different because step 4 was go to the table menu and activate show grids. I didn't know how to do that. I couldn't find that on here, so I created tables. I didn't put in any of her personal information, of course, or ours. So the name of our school is Cook Christian Academy, so I put Cook Christian Academy High School transcript, school information. Then over here would be the student information. It would have been August of 2017. The basic information over here, I'm going to fill this in just so you guys can see it, but it will just be the grading scale, the unit standard, abbreviations, things like that, stuff that they will need to know, okay, what is this or what does this stand for? And then if she has any awards, fall 2017. For the fall 2017, under course description, I would go through and put everything that she took that year. Then I would put the grade, so if she got an A, B, D, C, or whatever. And then the credit earned. And then the GPA for that semester. You don't have to put it on every line, but you can put it at the bottom. I also put like 1 credit equals, and I didn't put it to be 120 to 180 hours. And then I'm going to put what half a credit is so that when they see the credit earned, they'll know how many hours were spent on that course. The grade here, it'll just be either A, B, C, D, E, F, or P. I'll continue putting in the classes that she took for this semester here. And then I'll calculate and put her grade point average. Okay guys, that is it. I will leave a link down below so that you guys can check out what other moms on the Homeschool Review Crew has to say about this awesome book. And also I will leave a link down below to the book and also to Everyday Education. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.